Good morning, everyone. Not a lot to announce. However, I do want to say this. If you go to my link tree down below, you'll find all my little social media hangouts and whatnot. In those social media hangouts, primarily MeWe, Minds, SpeakerMindHere.com, and CloudHub, you will find my last post. My last post has a link. That link is a download link to a rough draft PDF that I wrote for the game 10 Candles. I do have my copy of it here. I will show it to you. A copy of the game, that is. I've been going back and reading through it again. And as you will see, it is not a very large book at all. As a matter of fact, it's very small. It's a very thin book. Not a lot to it. This is a game that I do recommend, especially if you're like me and you like story games. War games are fun. I'm going to give them their due. That is how I got started in tabletop RPGs. But it was the story game that required very little, if anything, and this one is excellent because it's all what we like to call one-shots. One game session lasts about maybe 2 to 3 hours. After that, it's over, and none of the characters ever move forward to the next session because all the characters die at the end. So there's no overpowered characters, and this is not survival horror, this is tragic horror. And just to give you the synopsis, this is a tragic horror tabletop storytelling game played by the light of 10 tea-light candles. When only one candle remains, the game enters its final scene in which all of the characters will meet their end. Designed for one-shot, zero prep sessions for one game master and 2 to 5 players. It includes full game rules and 17 quick start session modules. That means it has 17 different adventures right there, including one called Pound Puppies, where you play, for this module, all characters are dogs. It's up to you if you want the dogs to be able to speak to one another, but there are otherwise no rule changes. Just to give you an idea of the possibilities, you can set this in any location, at any time. You will have goals and places of note. Writing the little quick start session modules is very easy. In fact, mine was just a touch more elaborate, and I had an intro. It is a rough draft. This is not the final draft of it, but if you're interested, well, I'll probably be posting a video about it later. And yes, you can download it until the 16th at 11:59 p.m. After that, it's a done deal. You'll have to share it between yourselves. So, you know, today is Straight Tarot Tuesday, so I got my piece of aura light right there that's been sitting on top of the deck for a few minutes, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to get these cards laid out. So, yesterday we talked about getting out of your comfort zone. Moots and I were discussing it because she also did a sort of a 3 or 4 card Monology pull, and it had a very similar message to mine. Of course, our readings tend to complement each other, so it was something that I thought was very interesting. Also, the High Notes card for yesterday was pulled, and that was a new moon eclipse, which said, expect powerful change. There's only one way to expect powerful change, and that's for you to take a little bit of initiative. So today, we're going to see if that initiative is driving you forward, if it's paying off, if it's, or maybe we're not doing something right and we need a sign. Okay? So, that's the kind of thing we're going to look at today. Oh, I should probably give you a heads up. Yeah, you know what? I'm just going to cover it in that next video I do. I'll probably do another video when I get back home from work today. And then we'll talk a little bit more about the session module. Just know one thing. There is no way in hell Drive-Thru RPG would ever publish it. They would never put it on their shelves. And it's because of a few things I've done. It's because of a few stances I've taken. I am fairly certain that someone will get their hands on this and be completely offended by it. And I'm okay with that, to be honest with you. It's inspired by exploitation movies and B movies and things like that. Real grindhouse kind of stuff, you know what I'm saying? So, I won't give away too many details if you don't know anything about it just yet. And Bub is making his rounds, I see. What's going on, buddy? Yeah. I think he knows it's getting close to feeding time, but it's not time yet. In fact, he's still got about an hour and 15. How about it? He's over there staring at the table like he wants to get on it, and I'm like, no, buddy. Yeah. Tell you what, here. Say hello to everybody. Daily Bob. Okay. I'm going to get him settled in and calmed down. There we go. Okay, he's sitting like a big old sphinx right now. Let's get started. So starting with you. The Lovers. You got a really good partnership going on. Now, questions come up about this card. With the Lovers, what are we talking about? Are we talking about romantic partnerships and relationships? Or are we talking about business partnerships and relationships? Honestly, could be any of the above. But these are partnerships right now that are stronger than ever. They are, the partner that you have at your side is someone that you can rely on, someone you can depend upon. So, it's a very reciprocal kind of a relationship. It has to be give and take 50-50. Because if it's not, well, it can fall apart pretty easily, right? Okay, so, mentally, looking at an Ace of Coins in reverse, got a Queen of Swords in reverse, but we've got a Six of Coins. So, start with the Ace of Coins in reverse. Not a whole lot of real opportunity here. Not a lot. This is kind of like how can I put this? When it's upright, it's usually a sign of financial opportunity and things to take advantage of. But we're not seeing anything new here. And not seeing anything new, things can get a little stale, things can get a little boring. But this is where you can draw on your strength to understand that what matters is always going to be there. So it's still very down-to-earth energy, but a lot of the same places, a lot of the same faces, a lot of the same old, same old. That can get a little bit boring. And I understand when some people are bored, they can get a little destructive. But I want you to understand something. Sometimes the same old needs to stick around so that you notice certain details. Because right now, when, like, that's your present situation. Right now, though, not exactly acting with a very sharp mind. This is kind of a warning. As we've said, the Queen of Swords has a serious bozo filter. She will cut through 9 layers of your bullshit. But with this particular Queen of Swords in reverse, what's going on in your mind right now? Why aren't you sharpening your wit? Why aren't you reading a little more? Why aren't you examining things? This card is more advice to do that, to sharpen your wit. Get that Queen of Swords. The reason that you don't have a lot of opportunity right now is because you're not really analyzing it. You're not really looking at bigger picture like we talked about yesterday. Bigger picture came into play. You're still kind of looking at the minute, well, what the hell's going on here? Why am I not getting results? It's because you're not learning new things. You're not taking full advantage of your mental capabilities, and that's a problem. But let me show you something. I love to talk about spinning these 2 cards around, putting them upright again. I'm not going to do that here, but I can tell you how you can do it. If you want to see the new and the old, because there's an old saying, if you want a new idea, read a really old book. And when you do that, you'll be able to learn new things. Here's what's going on, though. That generosity, that being able to be fair and balanced, this is taking care of yourself and someone else. Taking care of yourselves and each other. Just like I tell you every day. Take care of yourselves and each other. Now, sometimes we go on diets. Sometimes we just eat healthy. Sometimes we don't. Sometimes we exercise. Sometimes we don't. When we exercise, when we eat healthy, when we're taking things into our bodies that positively affect us, we take care of ourselves physically. We're not even in the physical yet. But how do you take care of yourself mentally? Let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. If you're burnt out, if you're frustrated and you're just over it, yeah, your mental health could be part of that. No, I'm not saying you're crazy. That's not it. Mental health, you could put on that calm persona and suffer the slings and arrows all day, but eventually those slings and arrows have to stop. You have to be able to recover. You have to do something to take your mind and put it in a better place. It can't dwell among the warlike forever. You can't sit. How was it it was put in Metal Jacket? The 1,000-yard gaze is what happens when a soldier's been in the shit too long. Don't be in the shit too long mentally. If you're in the shit too long mentally, it can definitely negatively affect you. You will start thinking negative thoughts. Try to get yourself back to that place. Try to get yourself back here. Balance yourself out. Take care of yourself, and you can take care of someone else. Strengthen that partnership here. Physically, death in reverse, but we do have the devil there, and we do have the world. So, death in reverse, this is not a new beginning. There's nothing new here. Again, we've got that, we're kind of lining up, aren't we? We've got that Ace of Coins in reverse, which means you're not seeing any opportunity. Therefore, you're not really looking for it either. You're not looking for that new beginning. And this is where the warning in your actions comes up. I know I said take care of your mental health, but look at that 6 of Coins there, where everything's kind of there's always trying to find that equilibrium. If you go in one direction or the other too hard, you can become locked into that thing. Whatever that thing is that takes care of your mental health. And that is a serious warning for it to pop up right in the center like that. Because it will get its let me tell you something, too much of a good thing can be just as bad as, just doing something that's bad for you. Let me put it to you this way. Now we're talking about the physical, so taking care of yourself. Let's talk about taking care of your mental health first. You've been on the diet for a while, you're starting to lose some of that weight. And you've set aside all the nasty snacks and junk food and stuff like that. But you're miserable. It's been a few weeks, and you're seeing the improvements, but you're still like, man, I really could go for whatever, that cheeseburger at McDonald's or Burger King, or I could really go for a pizza. And then you do. Now your mental health is taken care of. You're not miserable anymore. That dopamine hits there. But what happens when you just fall completely off the wagon and now that's all you're eating? Yeah. Causing your own self-destruction there. Now, the thing is, don't deny yourself, but don't overdo it. Keep it healthy, keep it sort of structured there. So your partnership right now, if you get locked into that thing, your partner's getting locked into that thing with you. This is also a warning. I am seeing trouble in paradise here. Right there in the center, I'm seeing trouble in paradise, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so the world. Now this is a potential outcome for you. The world, Chico, and everything in it. Don't we always say that? But this is what's going on, because there's, especially with the Six of Coins here, there's a oops, and there's an overcorrection, and it's back and forth. You need to figure out a way to balance it out. That's the only way you defeat the Devil card there. With death in reverse, there's not a whole lot to worry about, but there's not a lot there that's going to kick you off and that sort of thing. I think, and from what I'm seeing, you're looking for outside sources to kind of get you moving. You're also kind of looking to your partner to get you moving. Why not become a self-starter? Like I said up here, the way to get a new idea is to read a really old book. Go to some older sources. Go to those who came before you, your predecessors, your ancestors. Try to get that piece of information. You're going to know it when you find it. It's going to be right there. And it's going to take you out of this and into this. Because you're going to have to integrate those elements. And what integration of those elements means is you're going to have to give yourself a little time. You're going to have to be very patient with yourself here. Patient with yourself, patient with your partner, and you're going to have to ask your partner, please be patient with me right now. I am trying to get all of this down. Okay? What you're going to have with the world is an integration. All the parts coming together to form a whole. It's just like the stars in this card. Let me show you. See that nebula? All the stars in that card coalesce to form, traditionally depict the shape of a yoni, which, along with a golden earthly sphere, is serendipitously depicts an eye. Notice it now. That's right there, all of it coming together. So you're gathering things. Little do you know, You're gathering pieces in order to make a whole. What are you trying to make whole? Yourself, hopefully, and your partnership as well. Let's look at the spiritual. Maybe there's something in the spiritual that we don't know anything about, and maybe we need to know it. Okay. So, Ten of Cups in reverse. I don't know how to tell you this. This is looking more like a family situation. There's an old saying where I come from, and it doesn't matter which religious path you've selected for yourself or where you feel at home, whatever it looks like to you. But it says that a family who prays together stays together. It can be taken a number of different ways, but a family that practices a spiritual path together finds that their bonds are a lot stronger. They find that when times are tough, they pull together rather than fall apart. Believe it or not, I am kind of thinking of somebody right now. Got somebody in my mind. I'm seeing a little bit of a family. Actually, not a little thing. It's a major family issue. It's a major block for this person. But my question is, what is it you feel that you can't talk to family about? What is it you feel you can't talk to your partner, your spouse, your husband, your wife, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, whatever? What is it the two of you can't get past because you need to? You need to flip this card around. This is going to be everything, because moving this around is going to help so much. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if you're seeing this, but I should point this out. Every card down this line is reversed. Two of the cards in this section are upright, and all three of these are upright. That'll have some significance because we're going to move from there into a Page of Coins. Think back to the times when what mattered was having that plan there. There was something very real in your life. But now spiritually, you're going to have to kind of figure things out, because you got to get all of that working together. But this is going to be, you remember what we talked about in the mind. You need to see the opportunities that are there around you. Just because the setting isn't different, just because it's not new, doesn't mean that there isn't a wealth of information. Ladies and gentlemen, I have a ton of books. A ton of them. I probably have a few more now than I ever did. And I'm getting more in audiobook. I've got a ton of books in ebook format, and I got more than my fair share in print. I got a wealth of them, and I'm always buying new ones. You get that new book, and oh boy, you skim a few pages, you stick it on a shelf. Okay, I'll read that later, and before you know it, the book collection is amassed, and you haven't really read a single one of them, right? That's what's going on right now. There's no shiny new thing in front of you. Overall, you're kind of bored. I could see someone being very bored with their life and looking around like, is this all there is? But that Page of Coins, this is your direct action. You will have an opportunity for enrichment. making your dreams come true. And there's a trustworthiness there. That's how you break this cycle, is by being trustworthy. Showing up, being reliant. Remember, I said before with the Lover's card that each one can rely on each other, they can depend on each other, they back each other, it's give and take 50-50, it's share and share alike. That is how you approach. I'm going to look at this and say, this is the self right here. And it's too much of a focus on it. And look, the potential outcomes all have something in common here. Primarily with the 7 of coins. You will be reaping great benefit, great reward. I mean, look at her. She's carrying all those coins home. She is happy. That is a beautiful scene. Your focus should be here. Mentally, physically, spiritually. Everything revolves around not just your earthly success, but your ability to balance out your wants, desires, and needs with the wants, desires, and needs of someone else. Right now it's a little murky. You're not sure where to start. Just start somewhere. Keep going. It doesn't matter. What I see here, I can see trouble brewing. And that trouble is right there. The present trouble is right there in the spirit. It's because there isn't anything new going on. It's because there's not a lot, the shiny new things aren't there right now. But they are. It's just going to take a little digging from you to find them. Don't get too locked into that self mode, because if you do, remember, these are only potential outcomes. They are not definite. Nothing is set in stone here. You have to do what you have to do. And really, that partnership should be the source. This should be the motivation. This should be the driving factor. In the Rider-Waite deck, it's 2 figures with an angel with an angel presiding over them. And in this one, 2 figures chained to the very block that this thing sits on. They are direct polar opposites of each other. I'm going to let that sink in for a little bit. So, how do we sum this up? It's very simple. Don't worry about shiny new things right now. Those don't need to be there. You have everything you need. You just may have to find that little diamond in the rough, so to speak. Get out of your own head. Stop focusing too much on you. Take care of yourself. Take care of your partner. Remember, it's not all about you. It's all about the 2 of you. Talk to family. Talk to the older people. Try to get advice from those who did it before. You never know what you're going to find. I guarantee you what you will find is you're going to find that moment where you're like, why didn't I think of that? It was right there in front of me. Then all these outcomes, all this potential outcome is going to be yours. But you're going to need time to kind of, something dawning on you and then putting it into practice. Those are 2 different things. And remember, yesterday we talked about balancing the spiritual and the practical. That's still not going away. Find out where the relationships are inside yourself, your mind, your body, and your spirit, and strengthen those. And then act on them and strengthen the relationships all around you. And that's everything I've got for you today. Just remember, thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. Thank you for staying to the end. I really do appreciate it. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for the shares. Thank you for the subscribes. Thank you for the comments. The good, the bad, the indifferent, the ugly, and the troll. For the ugly and the troll, you're the best advertisement I got. Always remember to take care of yourselves and each other in equal measure. Always do what lights you up. And be sure to share it. You never know who else may benefit. And as always, shine on.